What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Jason Ackerman, coming back at you for best hour of their day. And today, I want to talk a little bit about a recent post that we put up on our Instagram at best hour of their day. And that was something to the extent of, I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but if you're a coach and you don't know the points of performance for the 9 foundational movements, I question you as a coach. And I think you guys know me well enough to understand I come off as really, really blunt and harsh when it comes to coaching. And it's simply because A, I care about it, I'm passionate about it. B, you really have the opportunity to impact other people's lives. And C, I was really bad. Those of you that know me that have read my book, I went through 10 internships to get on seminar staff. For reference, most people like Fern, he probably went through three. I'm not saying he didn't have to sleep his way to the top. We don't have to talk about that now, but I didn't do that. I held my morals and my integrity, unlike Fern. And it took me 10 internships. And I say that because I was really bad. I was specifically really bad at seeing and correcting. And that's why I'm so adamant about this idea that you need to know the points of performance. Every weekend at level twos, when I'm, privileged and lucky enough to coach at a level two, I say this to people. Look, it's hard to get better as a CrossFit coach. For many of you, you coach 2, 4, 6 hours a week. How many things in life can you get really great at? Can you truly become, virtuosos at? With 6 hours a week. You're talking 10,000 hours, a quick math. That's a very long time. I didn't even pull up my calculator. I just 10,000 divided by six, whatever, 8, 10, however many hours you coach. It's hard. Now, here's how you get better at coaching while you're not coaching. You learn the damn movements. You learn in the air squat what the points of performance are: heels, knees, depth, arch, line of action. I want to see those 5 things. I want to see your athlete squat with the weight in their heels. I want to see the knees track the toes. I want to see a full range of motion. I want to see the maintenance of a natural S curvature. And ultimately, I want to see a proper line of action. That means hips back and down. Cool. Since I know those 5 points of performance, now I can start to think about, okay, what happens when those go wrong? What happens when an athlete squats on their toes? What happens when an athlete rounds their back? What happens when they knee initiate? And now I can start to think about, what cues do I have in my toolbox, in my arsenal, to improve those movement patterns? So let's work it out together. You're working with an athlete. They squat on their toes, right? Just shift forward. It's nothing completely egregious. It's just their weight shifted forward into their toes. And let's assume the other points of performance were dialed in. They still got their knees over their toes. They still maintained their natural S curvature. They still got proper depth, and they even had a good line of action. So now my challenge to you is, I need you to think of 3 cues to fix that. I need you to think about a verbal cue. I need you to think about a visual cue, and I need you to think about a tactile cue. So let's talk it out. They're squatting on their toes. Think about a verbal cue, you might say. All right. So the thousands of listeners all thought about verbal cues. Is probably a lot of the same, but maybe we say, hey, wiggle your toes. We want it to be short, we want it to be specific, and we want it to be actionable. Short meaning 3 words or less. If you're talking for 2 minutes about the fact that your athlete's on their toes, you've defeated the purpose. It's got to be boom, boom, get in, get out, just like my sex life. Now, wiggle your toes. Why is that specific? Because it's giving you a very direct thing to do. Wiggle your damn toes. And it's actionable in the sense that, okay, I understand what the word wiggle means, and I understand what body part he's talking about. Cool. I can do that. So that's one of thousands of cues that we can use verbally to improve their athletes. Now, visual. For a visual cue, I want you to always remember this: there's minimal talking. Here's what you're doing, demonstration. Here's what I want you to do, demonstration. There's no talking in there. Think about your visual cue. Not everyone learns the same way. Some people learn a lot better by seeing. When it comes to anything cooking around the house with Roz, she'll start talking to me. I'm like, no, 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 no. Show me. Tell me what to do. Show me what you mean by that. That's what a visual cue is. I'd say the biggest fault I see in visual cues is someone trying to talk all right, so here's what you're doing. You're squatting and you're weight shifting forward, and that's causing this. All of a sudden, we're just in a diatribe, and it's verbal. Visual cue. Here's what you're doing, and I want you to practice demonstrating that fault and make it obvious that you're demonstrating your squatting on your toes. Here's what I want you to do. Now you're going to demonstrate a really nice squat in your heels. All right. So we've got one verbal, we've got one visual, we've got one tactile coming. Now, tactile, lots of options as well. Think about what you might do for a tactile cue here. Your athlete's squatting on their toes. I'll give you one quick example. I might walk up behind them and just give them a little bit of a tap on their heel with my foot. Give them a nice little, kick in their heel there. Hey, get this part of your foot down. Cool. That's one option. Another option, put your fingers under the front of their foot and tell them to lift their toes, right? Another option, grab their heels with your hands and push them into the ground. Again, verbal and tactile cues, your options are limitless. Hundreds, thousands, an infinite number of cues that you can be doing. Now, we've been talking for 5 minutes about one fault in one movement. We haven't touched upon the knees. We haven't touched upon the depth. We haven't even gotten to the front squat yet. So imagine if you start doing this for every movement, for every point of performance, the next time you go into the box to coach, you're going to be seeing so much more because you're going to be knowing where to look, as well as being significantly improved in your ability to correct because you've thought about these faults. I'm actually working on something with a buddy, Carl from Whiteboard Daily, on a workbook for this. And it's something that Fern and I are working on as well. And if it's something you're interested in, I'm happy to help you. I have my 90-day course starting any day now. This is coming out on Tuesday. The 90-day course, actually, our first live call is tomorrow on Wednesday. But I just gave you enough information to get started. If you want to learn more, if you want to dig deeper, if you want to get better at being a coach, hit me up, shoot me a DM, shoot us an email, besthouroftheirday@gmail.com. But that's my point when I talk about points of performance, and I say everybody needs to be studying those. You should know the points of performance, you should know the progressions inside and out if you want to be the best CrossFit coach you can be. That's all I got for you today. Peace out. Thanks again for listening to Best Hour of Their Day. If you haven't already, do us a favor, head over to the Apple Podcast app and leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feedback for either Fern or myself, hit us up, besthouroftheirday@gmail.com, or send us a DM over on Instagram at Best Hour of Their Day. Once again, we couldn't do this without the amazing community, and you are a part of it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting Best Hour of Their Day.